A gunman of Ukraine's nationalist right sector group has been detained in the Lugansk People's Republic on suspicion of plotting a terrorist attack in downtown Lugansk, the LPR Ministry of State Security said on Friday. An underground center of radicals was based in one of the apartments in the city. Explosives were installed along the perimeter of the building's basement. Bomb disposal experts have already cleared the area. In the apartment, officers found Kalashnikov guns, ammunition, grenades and igniters for them, as well as extremist literature and leaflets calling on local citizens to support the right sector. Ukrainian police scattered the rally of adherents of Novorossiya in Kharkov. The police did not allow holding the rally to adherents of Novorossiya. Activists of the movement Ishod wanted holding of the demonstration from Zerkalnaya Struya to the Svoboda Square. The crowd of the police officer hindered to hold the rally for Novorossiya adherents. Some of protestants were taken to the regional department of the police to investigate fact findings. Moscow plans to develop global security cooperation with its traditional ally Serbia, the Russian Foreign Ministry said in a statement ahead of Friday's talks between Russia and Serbian top diplomats in Moscow. The talks between Sergei Lavrov and his Serbian counterpart Ivica Dačić are expected to focus on cooperation as part of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe in view of Serbia's presidency in 2015. Bulgaria will issue all the required permissions for starting the construction of the South Stream pipeline and keep working on the project, Bulgarian Prime Minister Boyko Borisov said after talks with the leaders of European countries on the sidelines of the EU summit in Brussels on Friday. I have received the full support and understanding of the European Council. Bulgaria should not be held responsible and pay the fines for the project's termination, the BNGAS news agency quotes Borisov as saying. But too late, project already closing. We thank our information partners for help with spreading this video news. Subscribe to our channel to receive up-to-date information on the situation in Ukraine and current geopolitical events in Europe. The clashes are going in Kramatorsk and Mayorsk since yesterday. Both sides are using tanks, artillery and other military equipment. Novorossiyan military are step-by-step pushing back Kiev's punitive forces. 2 Kiev's mortar units were destroyed there today. Pro-Kiev forces plans full-scale offensive in Lugansk sector. Kiev concentrated big group of forces in Stanitsa Luganskaya sector. LPR headquarters report that punitive forces of Kiev regime will attack in Bakhmutskaya highway and checkpoint 31. Armed forces of Lugansk People's Republic shot down Kiev's rocket .U around town Alchevsk last night. At least we see what actions Kiev's government is calling the anti-terrorist operation. Launching rockets at residential areas is apparently an anti-terrorism. There are hard clashes in the Baltsevas pocket sector. There, Russian military take control of 15 settlements during last night. DPR and LPR forces connected and the Baltsevas pocket was full closed. All Kiev military's counterattacks were failed. Street fights are going in Debaltseva, Chenukhina and Popasnaya. Uglegorsk are full controlled by Novorossiyan military. Deployment in vantage points is going there. 4 Kiev military are continuing shelling of Donetsk and the airport. According to Alexander Zakharchenko's statement, next attack of Kiev's forces will be in Donetsk airport sector. We thank our information partners for help with spreading this video news. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to receive up-to-date news on situation in Ukraine. Shelling of the Novorossiyan city of Donetsk is continuing practically non-stop, with shells landing in civilian areas after mediator talks failed Saturday. Militia and Kiev's forces are fighting for the Debaltseva sector when 7,000 Kiev troops was almost surrounded by forces of People's Republics. Officials of the DPR said at least 3 civilians have been killed and 14 civilians have been injured by Ukrainian artillery fire targeting residential areas overnight. The continued violence prompted Donetsk authorities to keep all schools closed until Wednesday. The negotiators of the contact group on Ukrainian reconciliation failed to sign a final document on results of the talks in Minsk. Further, likely Minsk talks was failed. The People's Republics insisted that Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko gave the order to his troops to stop all hostilities before any document could be signed. They also want to renegotiate the disengagement line that would separate territories controlled by Kiev and the People's Republics to correspond to their latest military advancement. Ukraine insists that the territories it lost over January, including the ruins of Donetsk International Airport, should be surrendered. These terms of agreement are unacceptable for DPR and LPR because it's a capitulation, while People's Self-Defense Forces of Donbass are smashing demoralized Kiev's army in the battlefield. Apparently, Kiev's policy headquarters in Washington doesn't consult in any rational form of talks. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry travels to Ukraine. He will offer public backing of Kiev's regime on Thursday. He will meet with self-styled Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko and other so-called senior Ukrainian leaders. It's the public version which U.S. State Department announced last Friday. In fact, Kerry moves to Kiev for inspection and briefing his Kiev puppets. However, official Kiev waits rewards for less actions in Donbass when Kiev's military restored full-scale war and prevented PSS tried to deny sanctions for Russia. But Kiev forget any Obama administration's back is flashing in the pan. Not long time ago, Obama administration was supplying military aid to so-called Libyan liberal opposition. Now, Islamic State, which was main part of that Libyan opposition, is claimed terrorist organization, and Obama denies any official help for it. It's not the future which Kiev will lack. The hopes of Kiev to be a valuable tool of US foreign policy are a bad idea by the one important reason. US never was careful with its tools. Further, Obama's administration doesn't interested in peace in Ukraine. According to the Times, 8 former senior US officials would issue an independent report on Monday urging Washington to send $3 billion in defensive arm and equipment to Ukraine, including anti-armor missiles and reconnaissance drones. Apparently, it's not enough for victory, but it's enough for raising a wave of clashes in the calm areas of frontline. In accordance with this fact, the terms of peace agreement proposed for People's Republics and personality of Kiev's representatives in Minsk who haven't any formal authority in Ukraine, anyone can easily forecast the future of Ukrainian crisis. The escalation. Ukraine is quickly turning from ordinary failed state controlled by foreigners into zone of instability and full-scale war. Like Somalia, but much worse and in the center of Europe. This zone will be used not only for political, economical and maybe military aggression against Russia. Also, this zone would be used against Europe. The EU concerned in US geopolitical game against Russia becomes victim of this game. And it's an expected fact for the European establishment. We thank our information partners for help with spreading this video news. Subscribe to our channel to receive up-to-date information on the situation in Ukraine and current geopolitical events in Europe.